Meet Danny Williams, London-born, loving father, family man, and one of the nicest guys in the game. He's a former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion who's been criticised for not fulfilling his great potential. But in June, opportunity knocked, and he was offered a shot at the baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson.
I got a text from Danny saying that he's got some big news, and when I heard the news, it don't come any bigger. It was just like wicked opportunity, and I was really excited about the fight from day one.
I wanted to scream for joy, man, because I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I think Mike Tyson's an all-time great, but he's been out of the ring 17 months, so I believe that obviously he's not going to be at his best, and I believe he's there for the taking.
One of the most fearsome boxers ever to climb into the ring, Tyson became the youngest ever heavyweight champion, aged just 21, and went on to rule the boxing world with an iron fist. But in the 90s, the high life took its toll, and Iron Mike self-destructed. He served time for rape, he bit Evander Holyfield's ear, and he threatened to eat Lennox Lewis's kids.
I'm addicted to chaos.
He also blew an estimated £200 million fortune and currently owes the US taxman around £20 million.
Foolish, man. It's so foolish. It's probably the most foolish person in the history of the sport I've ever seen.
But he's still the biggest draw in boxing, and he can't wait to get back in the ring.
I just miss what I do very well. I miss fighting. And I know on the first stage I probably won't be as good as I anticipate on being good, but I know the fight-by-fight process I'll be better than the next fight, and then the next, and by the fifth fight I'll be in truly top shape, perhaps.
The 7 fights ain't gonna happen because I'm looking to stop him in this fight. I'm looking to defeat him, and there won't be no 7 fights.
The last time we saw Tyson in the ring, he blew the Black Rhino Clifford Etienne away in just 49 seconds, but that was 17 months ago. In their US training camp, Jim McDonald told sparring partners to go for the early knockout against Danny, just like Tyson would.
I remember my old trainer, George Francis, when he prepared Bruno. So you always use experience. That's what life's all about, learning experience as you go through. And when they prepared for Tyson, it was a similar type of drill. And you've only got to look at Tyson's record, 23 knockouts in the first round, tells you how hard he punches and how fast he starts. And if you get caught by him, as Danny will tell you guys now, it's like that.
The fight was set for July 30th at the Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of the greatest, Muhammad Ali. And at the pre-fight press conference, both camps were confident.
We've been training in Phoenix, Arizona for the last month. Mike's in good shape right now, and we got another month to go, and he'll be in great shape by fight time, and don't miss this one. Mike's back.
Yeah. Danny Williams has always aspired to Mike, always looked up to him, and I remember watching Mike when I was young, when I was boxing myself, great fighter. And I believe Danny can be a great fighter as well, but you've got to go and prove that against great fighters. That's what he intends to do, so look forward to great fight, guys.
The time for talking was over, but more drama was to unfold on fight night before a punch was even thrown. Just 60 minutes from fight time, there was a problem with money. The US promoter hadn't paid Williams his purse, and it looked like the fight could be off.
Basically, that was going on right up to, like you say, about the last 30 minutes before the fight. And I actually had a message from Frank Warren before the fight that whatever happens, take the fight, because if whatever happens, Danny's going to get paid. So I was cool with that, because at the end of the day, Danny would have took the fight for nothing anyway, because it was opportunity knocks, and he had to take it, and by taking it, I believe he's changed his life for the rest of it.
My trainer, Jim McDonald, kept that all away from me, great team. I didn't realise any of that was going on, but, if I did know, it wouldn't have bothered me one bit, because I was so relaxed, and, if I was fighting for £100, £10, it didn't matter. My main aim was to go out there and defeat Mike Tyson.
So Danny Williams had achieved the unthinkable. He'd smashed the baddest man on the planet into possible retirement, but there were points in round 1 when it could have been all over.
My legs were gone, but I think because of the great conditioning Jim McDonald's got me in, mentally I was still all right. So I had the mentality to hold him, tie him up, and walk him to the ropes, and hopefully clear my head a little bit better.
So what did it feel like to be on the receiving end of one of Tyson's biggest punches?
I really can't explain it, because I've never been hit like that before. His punching power is absolutely amazing. I mean, if you watch the first round, he hits me with an uppercut and it takes him off my feet. His punching power is absolutely amazing.
He may have taken the best shots Tyson could unload, but then the referee, Dennis Alfred, tried his best to upset Williams with the dubious deductions of points for low blows, not once, but twice.
What is this?
He was a complete joker. He was just a complete joker. Danny fought 2 guys. He fought Tyson and a referee. He was never going to get a points verdict, which we weren't going to look for anyway. He could possibly have got thrown out. I know when Tyson was down on the floor, that Danny was in the middle of throwing the shots. It would have been very easy to let one more go. And if he did, I believe the dream of beating Mike Tyson would have been crushed, because I believe the referee would have disqualified him. And it was a real hard thing to deal with. But Danny showed another strength there, that he dealt with it. He didn't panic. Even when the referee was giving him grief and deducting points, not at one stage did he show any distress signals.
I think you look at the fight, Mike Tyson performed great, I performed great, but the referee, he was absolutely disgusting. He was very poor refereeing, very, very poor refereeing. I never want to see that guy again.
Despite taking on Tyson and the referee, Danny turned the fight on its head in the fourth, but when did Team Williams know their moment had come?
In the very first training session, I just, no lies, I had no doubt at all. I spoke to the British press when I was out there, and they thought I was gone crazy. I said, listen, I said, it's a one-horse race. They just couldn't believe what I was saying. And the reason being, because obviously I was with Danny 24/7, and I've always said, when he comes to the ring, body and soul, there ain't no heavyweight in the world who can beat him. And I mean that sincerely.
Well, Mike Tyson came out very quick in the round 4. He hit me some really good shots. Then the last shot he hit me was a big right hand. And when he hit me and it didn't do nothing to me, didn't even wobble me, I think he lost heart there. And I started to push him back and I could feel him getting weaker. I said, yeah, I've got him.
Tyson's people blame the defeat on an injured knee, but Team Williams aren't so sure.
I spoke to a friend of mine who's a sports physiotherapist, and a very good sports physiotherapist, and he explained to me that the picture at the end of that fight, when Mike Tyson was sitting on the floor, the injured knee was bent. If you have a look at the picture, he's got one leg out straight and the other leg bent, and the knee that he supposedly injured, which was his left leg, where he couldn't get the pivot on, he had it bent. And he said, if you had problem with the knee he's talking about, with ligament stretch trouble, that the first thing you'd do to alleviate the pain was put your leg out straight. But he didn't have his leg out straight, so as far as I'm concerned, that was just a Tom Pepper.
Credit to him, one point in the first round, he held his knee and he looked to the referee. But after that, you know, he started to throw left hooks with bad intentions again, and he was putting his whole body into the punch, moving his knees, you know, into the punch. So there was nothing wrong with his knee. He just got beat by the better man, simple as that.
So the Mike Tyson story might have come to an end, but how did Danny feel to end the career of a boxing legend?
At the time, you know, I was glad he was on the floor and I was glad he was knocked out. In fact, when the referee was counting, I was praying, you know, that he wouldn't get up. And when he didn't get up, I was so glad. But now looking back at the fight, I am, you know, upset that I have nearly ended his career. I do feel very sorry for him.
Fun enough, when we was in the ring and everyone was celebrating, I just looked out the corner of my eye and I see Tyson sitting there as a loner. Just his trainer was there, Freddie Roach. And I walked around the back of everything because I respect Mike Tyson from growing up with him in my front room, basically. I think he's one of the greatest heavyweights who's ever lived. And I went across to Mike Tyson, he was sitting there, and I said to him, I put my arm on his shoulder and just said, listen, Mike, respect you, man. Don't put your head down. You've been one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he sort of gave me a wry smile. I said, trust me, when you look at Danny Williams' career from here on in, you won't be too sad that he lost him, because he's a great fighter himself. I think you guys just underestimated him. And he sort of looked at me with a little smirk, and I just left him on that note.
Next up for Danny, it's the Siberian Express, Oleg Maskayev. But what does the future hold for the new hero of British boxing?
The future's massive, and I think, you know, the main thing is I think he'll go on to be champion of the world. And if politics don't admit it, then I think he could go on to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That's how good he is.
God willing, I believe that by the end of this year or early next year, I'll be world heavyweight champion. You know, I think I've got all the potential. I believe that I'm strong, powerful, and I believe I can take out any heavyweight in the world at the moment.